War. War never changes. The Romans waged war to gather slaves and wealth. Spain built an empire from its lust for gold and territory. Hitler shaped a battered Germany into an economic superpower. But war never changes. In the 21st century, war was still waged over the resources that could be acquired. Only this time, the spoils of war were also its weapons: petroleum and uranium. For these resources, China would invade Alaska, the US would annex Canada, and the European Commonwealth would dissolve into quarreling, bickering nation-states bent on controlling the last remaining resources on Earth. In 2077, the storm of World War had come again. In 2 brief hours, most of the planet was reduced to cinders. And from the ashes of nuclear devastation, a new civilization would struggle to arise. A few were able to reach the relative safety of the large underground vaults. Your family was part of that group that entered Vault 13. Imprisoned safely behind the large vault door, under a mountain of stone, a generation has lived without knowledge of the outside world. Life in the vault is about to change.
Ah, you're here. Good.
Said the grizzled, white-haired old man whom all residents of Vault 13 knew as the Overseer.
We've got a problem. A big one.
He transfixed his 3 guests with his piercing blue eyes, allowing his gaze to settle on each one to make sure they knew the gravity of the situation. The first was a slim, young, athletic woman of Russian descent, with straight black hair cut off evenly just above the shoulders with equally straight bangs just above her brow. The second was a well-groomed man in his late 20s. He had strong, chiseled features and short but wavy brown hair framing his angular face. The last was an enormous man, easily standing head and shoulders above the other man, and then some over the woman. His bright auburn hair was shaved to a flat top. They were all dressed in the standard issue Vault 13 attire. A sturdy navy blue jumpsuit, plain except for the large numeral 13 on the back, and a very functional but minimalistic utility belt at the waist. They had all gathered in the operations room at the Overseer's behest. This was the central command unit of the entire vault, where all command and control operations were performed by the leaders of Vault 13, also known as the Central Computer Core, or CCC. The Overseer stared down at them from the platform in the center of the CCC. The platform itself was a U-shaped desk from where the Overseer could monitor and control the vault's myriad processes electronically. In order to grant the Overseer access to the many levels of visual display units in the CCC, stacked one over the other, the platform was also equipped with a hydraulic lift, which provided support, power, and communication lines to the platform. This allowed it to be raised or lowered to the multiple levels of VDUs. Temporarily putting aside his scrutiny of the vault's systems, the Overseer brought the platform down to their level, walking out and around to end the divide between them.
The controller chip for our water purification system has given up the ghost,
he said to the 3.
Can't make another one.
He continued.
The process is too complicated for a workaround system. Simply put,
he paused to collect himself.
We're running out of drinking water.
The 3 gave a sharp, collective intake of breath as the reality of his statement hit home. There was no internal solution to this problem.
No water, no vault,
said the Overseer.
This is crucial to our survival. And frankly,
He paused again, allowing his face to betray the first vestiges of weariness and anxiety.
I think you're the only hope we have.
The smaller-sized man of the group, Albert, looked like he was about to say something, but the Overseer beat him to it.
You need to go find us another controller chip,
he said to the 3. The shock was even greater this time. He allowed another pause to let things sink in before continuing.
We estimate we have 4 to 5 months before the vault runs out of water. We need that chip. We marked your map with the location of another vault. Not a bad place to start, I think.
3 separate beeps came from the bulky, watch-like devices each of the visitors had on their wrists. They were Robco Pip-Boy 2000s, the personal information processors designed by Robco Industries before the war to store data like music, videos, pictures, and documents. It double-functioned as a digital map, a timepiece, calendar, and diary. The beeps indicated that the overseer had just, with the press of a button from a small remote connected wirelessly to his central computer, uploaded electronic maps of the west coast of the former United States into their Pip-Boys.
We need to move the 3 of you out without delay, so I'm going to need you to report immediately to the EML on the ground floor. I have already informed my staff to prepare traveling packs for each of you.
Wait a minute.
The lady, Natalia, interjected with no small concern in her eyes.
What about our friends, our belongings, our lives?
I understand how terribly abrupt this all is,
said the overseer, still speaking in the same measured tone.
But the more the rest of the vault knows about this, the more delays we will inevitably have. The whole notion of sending anyone out there into the world up above is already controversial enough as it is. Imagine the uproar we would have if we told people we were sending not 1, but 3 of you.
Not everyone in the vault sees that as such a bad thing,
Albert pointed out.
Not for your little entourage, perhaps.
The overseer replied with a little irritation creeping into his voice.
But telling them would create a whole other controversy. They'd want to leave with you.
And why not let them?
Albert asked, his voice rising ever so slightly.
I've seen the studies. The radiation count is low. Why don't we just let them decide for themselves if they want to move out?
We've debated this before,
the overseer said, frowning.
Any decision like that has to be made by the community as a whole. Having part of our population, even a minority like yours, just pack up and leave could have dire ramifications for the rest of us. And besides, you of all people ought to know what's out there. You've read the computer projections about the post-nuclear wasteland. Even if only a handful of them turn out to be true. You think the rest of us could survive that?
The overseer paused to allow himself to cool off. Then he gave a slight smile.
Besides, I'd be out of a job. I'm management. It's not like I know how to do anything useful.
Albert gave a soft laugh.
We agree on that at least.
Wait, so what's happening?
Natalia asked. The third of the group, Max, just glanced back and forth between the 3 of them. The overseer sighed.
I'll give you 15 minutes. Go back to your quarters. Take whatever personal items you feel you will need, but keep it to a minimum. You're going to have a long journey ahead of you. And tell only those you must about this. Only your closest relatives or friends, people you can trust to keep their mouths shut. The last thing we need is a panic.
He shot Albert a quick glance.
I will tell them eventually. About the water chip. About the 3 of you leaving. I'll have to eventually, just not so abruptly. And if you care about any of the people here and the potential repercussions of your actions, you'll keep that in mind when you go back to your rooms.
As the 3 turned to leave, the overseer stopped them.
One more thing,
he said.
I won't be able to see you off, so
He paused and then fixed them again with his piercing blue eyes.
Look, just be safe, okay?